Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, the Bloodline might be set for some drastic booking in WWE.
Could we have a major WWE return coming at this Saturday's Money in the Bank?
Got a weird report on WWE trying to Vince-proof their programming.
And there's a top WWE star saying he expected to be fired last year.
I mean, it's a fair assumption. It's WWE. They fire loads of people. Bit mean, however. I'm Andy Murray.
I'm Michael Hamflett.
And this is the news. Let's kick things off by talking about the Bloodline. They got a pretty big match coming up at Money in the Bank this Saturday. The Bloodline Civil War. It's being billed as it's Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa versus the Usos. And it could go off in a number of different directions and ways and spaces and permutations and other things that ends with a letter S. But there's a report here from WrestleVotes talking about it, and I'll just read it to you. The whole thing, it's a Twitter account, it's not long, you know the score. Hearing WWE has two very drastic finishes in play for the Bloodline matchup on Saturday. Creative seems to be split on the decision. In conjunction, I'm told the Usos and Solo were part of a run-through session this past Friday at a closed location to go over things. So got some drastic things planned, could go one of two ways. It's pretty interesting to think about. For me, the most logical thing is Jay pins Roman, and then you've got another title match coming out of it. I've been waiting for them to have the balls to pin Roman in a tag team match for a long time, and I kind of hope they do that. But I don't really know if there's a bad result to this match, because everyone is so, on the hook. There you go. I did a Wilborn gimmick there.
That was good, I like that. Reading between the bloodlines,
it
does feel like this is a discussion about pinning Roman.
Yeah.
It has to be. The two finishes, I was trying to work out what the other one might be.
No contest.
Yeah, just throw it out.
Yeah.
It's just disqualified for kicking too much ass.
There you go. 2 minutes, done.
They end up spilling out of the O2, getting on the tube,
staying on the
tube for a good 15 minutes, stay on the tube, then go to the Houses of Parliament and clamber up Big Ben and fight up there because the Bloodline Civil War can't
fall on top of Rishi Sunak.
Yeah, that'd be ideal, quite honestly. It's got to be about Roman getting pinned.
Yeah.
The Sami Zayn and Roman versus John Cena and Kevin Owens match could have been the one. Mm-hmm. The Night of Champions one could have been the one, and they've saved it. They've done very well to hold off on even that. Was it Baron Corbin in 2019, the dog food feud?
Yep.
That was the time he got pinned.
Would have been, yeah.
So
the Lone Wolf, newly reborn.
Oh yeah, that nostalgia really made me feel nostalgic.
Yeah. But hey, let us know what you think. What would you do with the Bloodline this weekend? Obviously, it's the biggest storyline in all of wrestling by virtue of being the biggest thing happening on the biggest show that the most people are interested in. So let us know. Would you have Roman pinned? Would you have him win? Would you do a Solo Sikoa turn? Would you Jimmy turn on Jay for some reason? Would you have Paul Heyman hit a shooting star press off the turnbuckles? Let us know. We want to know. Yes.
Speaking of this Saturday's Big Money in the Bank show where it's all going to go down, we have got a bit of news on a possible huge return on that show. We've got this coming in from Worked Wrestling, our good friends there.
Stained, they're on the inside.
I'm on the outside.
Oh wait, no, he was on the outside.
He was on the inside. The inside, he was looking in.
So many sides.
Do you know who's been on the outside looking in for the last 12 months or so? It's Randy Orton.
Oh.
But that could be coming to an end. That's what Worked Wrestling have got. I'm as excited as you are.
And like Stained, it's been a while since we've seen him. Is he not a very bad guy now, Stained man? Has he done some stuff?
Oh, I'm pretty sure
Probably. If he has, I'm sorry.
I think he might be a bad egg. I'm not sure, but Google that.
This is why I make new metal jokes.
Yeah, that's fine. Google that for yourself. Speaking of new metal jokes, Randy Orton's old theme. I don't know. Hey, nothing you can say.
More riffs than the Beatles.
Oh, what, Randy Orton?
Yep.
Randy Orton and his dad.
I'm telling you.
What are we doing? Anyway, Worked Wrestling have said, quote, Randy Orton is expected to make a return, possibly even as soon as this weekend's Money in the Bank. Orton has been out of action since May of 2022 with a serious back injury. Of course, back then he was teaming with Matt Riddle as part of Arcade Bro. Mm-hmm. They lost their tag belts to the Usos as part of the Bloodline's dominance that they once held over SmackDown. Riddle has since formed a bond with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. He still mentions Randy Orton, still talks about how influential he was. He'll drop in RKOs here and there. So Orton's presence has been felt, but obviously, a big... Is star the word? He's had a long career, so he's kind of held up right now as
You're
one of...
You're trying really hard not to bury Randy Orton here, I can tell.
he's held up as one of these legacy players,
sure.
And not just because he was in a really boring stable with Cody Rhodes, called that a decade ago that people still hold on to.
Shout out to Manu.
Yeah, and less so to Ted DiBiase Jr. Look, I'm being flippant here and it's unfair. Randy Orton's been on the shelf for a long time. A lot of people love him, and if he was to come back, this would be a major, if not the major story, all joking aside, of this pay-per-view.
They've still got the Riddle feud that they can do. They could do a Cody Rhodes feud because of the legacy stuff, and it would make perfect sense, and people would be into it. I really actually enjoyed the past couple of years of Randy Orton on WWE television. In particular, the Riddle stuff was a lot of fun. The Edge feud, had its hokey moments, but the gym fight in the pandemic was not really my speed, but plenty of enjoyable stuff there. So also, he's been out for a year and that sucks. So let's get him home.
RK Bro Imperium right now would be nice, spinning off Riddle and Gunther. There's not nothing for him to do either.
Plenty of stuff.
And like I say, there's he comes back and he's a John Cena-like figure that can work more regularly. That's a big deal. That is
important.
My subjective tastes do not matter. Enjoy Randy Orton if you like.
He's got a better hairline than John Cena as well. Have you seen that bald patch?
For that egg in a nest, brother.
Yeah, oh boy. Friar Tuck.
Be your true self, John.
Yeah, don't just get the hell out of here, Friar Tuck. Right, this is a weird one. This sounds like a horrible place to work. Fightful Select. Not Fightful, that's not a horrible place to work, I imagine. Sean seems like a nice guy.
Shout out to Sean Rossap, who's currently on our side of the Atlantic.
He is. He's made the mistake of coming to England, the worst country in the world. I'm joking, I live here.
You're down in London, get yourself up to Gateshead. That's only 6-7 hours on a lot of very difficult and cancelled trains. Treat yourself.
Gateshead's much better than London, I'm sure. Fightful Select have come through with this report that makes WWE sound like a pretty awkward place to work, because they're trying to Vince-proof stuff. They're trying to work around the whims of a crazy, demented billionaire. They're noting that wherever possible, Vince McMahon... Okay, so Vince apparently wants to deliver matches that have been advertised. When a match is pre-announced, he wants them to happen for the most part, regardless of who put them together. But there are exceptions, even though he apparently prefers to see them through. Now... One of Fightful's sources notes that WWE has attempted to Vince-proof certain matches on SmackDown by advertising them several weeks in advance. This includes the 9th of June episode, which featured several pre-announced plans that those involved hoped would actually happen. So... what they're trying to do there, reading between the lines, is they're going, okay, if he doesn't want to mess with things that are already announced, we're going to announce them 3 weeks in advance so that he can't change them on the day. Now, McMahon's changes have been a constant since April, of course. He's got the final say on creative. It's noted here that on the 19th of June episode of Raw last week, he altered a pivotal storyline moment set for the first 30 minutes of the show. He added another match. Then on the following Friday's SmackDown, he made several changes to a number of matches as well. So there you go. And the changes last week are understood to have sparked a ton of frustration, that's the quote, at almost every level of WWE. We won't dwell on this too long because I feel like we do this stuff every single day, and I imagine a lot of people have already clicked the timestamp over to the next story. That being said, this sounds like a nightmare. Having to work around your boss?
Stinks, man. Circle of life stuff. When my two children were little babies, you have to put...
Hello, little baby!
Hello, little baby! You have to put little things over the plug sockets, stair gates, the like, so they can't hurt themselves. And then you get all the way to, at 77, I chose to unretire, and you have to do that to the company, just in order to stop them doing the same. And it doesn't even work. Bailey did all the local promotion for She loses her spot in Money in the Bank match to Shotzi on SmackDown, and it was just binned completely. Ronda and Shayna's NXT unification tag was just bumped a week with no explanation. So it's still happening, even when they're doing this. There is no Vince proof, and it's Vince until it's not Vince, isn't it?
Yeah, Vince.
Rubbish.
It's literally, sounds morbid, it's Vince until he dies, really. Well, he's never going to relinquish control, and he has that clause in his contract that says unless he passes or he's no longer able to fulfill these things, and we're not wishing for that, by the way. We're not animals, but he's here forever. That's how it is.
He'll keep twirling and we'll keep hurling. Yeah,
there you go.
Because he makes us sick. Having that.
Yeah, and he's a bit of a dick.
I love this.
There you go.
Do you know what else would have made me feel a bit sick?
The Fiend.
Is if that guy right there had been fired in 2022, but he himself believes it was on the cards. LA Knight was speaking to the brilliant Chris Van Vliet, and he said, and this is a full quote from LA Knight,
Yes.
Well, let me just go ahead and say this. I'm pretty sure I was fired and it just hadn't officially happened yet. Without getting into too many details, some things happened. I don't remember what it was, and some things happened. And then I had got on a FaceTime saying, hey, we actually want to keep you around. We want to do this, that, whatever. And okay, cool, good. So somehow I'd been saved from being thrown off a cliff. At least that's my interpretation of it. Maybe I'm incorrect, I don't know. Look, LA Knight, of course, is speaking about the period of time when he'd been brought into the main roster from NXT as Max Dupree, in Maximum Male Models. He was then dropped even though the act weren't, so you can kind of understand where he's coming from here, thinking it was doomed, but it obviously fell right around the time that Triple H took charge. It was May that he fell away from the Maximum Male Models thing, and then by July, Triple H was in the catbird seat and LA Knight was back on television, and all has gone well. He finds himself heading into Money in the Bank as one of the favourites, but not, to get back to that man again, seemingly of Vince McMahon. The guy that appears to be most in the tug of war between father and son-in-law is this guy right here.
Yeah.
So it's quite refreshing to hear him being bold enough to come out and say this, because I feel like he's speaking about something that a lot of people would have assumed too.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, bewildering decision to have him be a manager on account of his age. 40 years old is like peak wrestling age.
Yeah.
It's when the physicality and you might decline a little bit physically, but your mind, your ring IQ is usually caught up by then, and you're like a perfect wrestling machine. So it's mental that they think, like, look at the people who've held top titles over the years, like recent years, Brock Lesnar, Bill Goldberg. It's wild. They go, 40 is too old, brother. Roman Reigns is 38, by the way.
Vince McMahon's a dumbass. He put a huckster and the Nacho Man on his pensioners in '96 and put the belt on Hogan 6 years later.
He's an idiot.
Like, he's a dumbass.
He's a buffoon. So these standards are whack. It's not like he even looks like an old man, is it? Like, look at this shape he's in. Like when he takes this Fiend outfit off. Like, he's an absolute beast. So I'm glad they didn't fire him, because he's great and he's very over and fun, and I like him a lot, and he should win Money in the Bank.
Fingers crossed.
Let's go over to our Twitter, YouTube community questions for the day. Sorry, I always get that wrong. First one today. Shout outs, by the way, to the one guy. Every single time I do this thread, there's one person every time who comments, why are WWE shoving boring Roman belt hog down our throats? I just want to, that's funny to me. I obviously disagree. It's funny, though. So
call him Borman Lames and we might read it out.
Yeah, there we go. Bork Laser. Remember that? That's like internet banter from 10 years ago. That.
Oh man, honestly, that feels like the sort of thing like, what would wrestling Twitter say about Bork Laser? Well, I just search it because it existed.
Goldberg, more like Oldberg. Right, reactive.
No, Berg.
Reactive 4836 wants to know the ideal SummerSlam opponent for Logan Paul. They think LA Knight. I think Cody Rhodes.
Seth Rollins for a belt.
Whoa!
WrestleMania rematch, but
whoa!
Yeah, I want to see a different coloured Prime bottle, and I want to see the idea that Logan Paul, just like with Roman Reigns last year, could dare ascend to the top of the mountain. I know the world title isn't really the top of the mountain, but like the idea that like, it would be such a transgression that Logan Paul could grab hold of one of these titles and claim it as his own. So yeah.
That'd be good. That'd be fun.
Cody's good.
Cody would be good, unless Cody's doing Brock. Logan Paul and Brock, oh my god. That would be hilarious. Shove him up the Titantron. Robert Smith, shouts to The Cure, who's been on. With Ospreay and Omega stealing the show at Forbidden Door. Tomohiro Ishii. I'm only joking, it was the best match on the show. What match do you... Here he goes. Big fan of the Sting match.
Apologies for liking bread. The punk was on fire, man. Sustained an elbow to the dick and still kicked ass.
It was really good as well. What match do you see stealing the show at Money in the Bank? For me personally, I'm a bit worn out on ladder matches. I don't really get that excited for them anymore. I'll be happy if LA Knight wins, don't get me wrong, or if Io or Zoe Stark wins the women's match. I like that, don't get me wrong. But for me, it's the Bloodline, the pantomime, popcorn soap opera.
This might stand as a hot take, and I don't mean it to. WWE has a way of getting in the way of itself, but I believe the ceiling for this card is so high that it could end up being better than Forbidden Door if everything peaks. I really mean that. I know it sounds like I'm just doing a bit. I don't think it all will.
Fair enough.
WWE tends to get in the way of itself. Riddle and Gunther.
Oh,
and I don't even like Matt Riddle. But like, if you look up and down that card, WWE do well with these multi-mans. Because I'm the same as you. Burnt out on ladder matches, but WWE seem to have like cheat codes to make them good still. Bloodline, Riddle and Gunther. And there's something I'm forgetting that I'm also as excited about. Like Rollins and Finn. I just think I've got a good one in them. But it's Riddle and Gunther. The
whole card kicks ass. From a work rate standpoint, I think that your picks are better than mine. But like, the soapiness of that Bloodline match is going to be insane, isn't it? I saw someone on Twitter recently call this storyline Real Housewives of Samoa. That's good. Because it's so like soapy and silly, and that's kind of the mood I'm into at the moment. So give me that. Make it as stupid as Paul Heyman should be crying like before he's even hit the ring. Why not? Let's go.
You'll see it's going to be a cauldron as well, isn't it?
Oh God,
incredible atmosphere.
People who want to be there like big time as well. This sold out in like 2 minutes. It's going to be hot. Our final question comes from Victor Perez, who asks, given Roman Reigns is still going to hold the belt until at least WrestleMania, do you think he will start a new faction? And if so, who do you think will be a part of it? I don't think so. I think he's going to be on his own for a while. Then he's going to go away and come back after a big break. But what do you reckon? New faction? Should he join the Judgment Day?
Oh, that'd be quite incredible.
The dyad, you could have them.
I'm just thinking of roll with like a purple glove instead of a gold one or a red one. No, yeah, I've seen a bit of Bloodline 2.0 being pitched as a way to get back at the Usos. Solo makes a choice and then he finds like more family members that want to respect him and all that. I don't know. I think this is kind of perfect the way it is, and you threaten diluting all of that. Like with or without the belt, Roman now, like, it has to be heading for loneliness, doesn't he? Like he didn't do that at WrestleMania, so now it's got to happen to him now.
Yeah,
surely.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got to have the almighty downfall. He's got to climb to the top of the tower and then fall all the way at the bottom.
Yeah.
And then go away for a bit when he loses, and then come back and do something else, do something new, do something cool. Join the dyad, why not?
Wear that dog outfit in there.
Yeah, there we go. Just revisit some classic content. Dog outfit, dog food, getting booed in the 2015 Royal Rumble. Classic stuff, suffering succotash. Little old Roman climbing the beanstalk.
If him and The Rock did that thing now, it'd be The Rock getting booed, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
like, what's going on with this reaction?
Yeah, what happened?
I wasn't ready for that. Do you think he's going to do a run in like one of The Rock's premieres, like The Rock did for him in 2015? I'll help you. Like I'm over now. It's fine.
Fall off a hammock. It'll be good. Hey, thank you so much for joining us today. If you like this video, you're going to love this one that's been here for about half a minute. See you later. Peace.